Is the 380 enough for personal defense?
So 22 long rifle gets all the press for being the most controversial cartridge in the inbox of concealed carry magazine. Well,
we haven't done a lot on the 25 ACP yet to rile up.
We haven't done much on the 25 ACP. The other one is 380 automatic Colt pistol.
I would never, ever. I typically like your fine magazine. However, been there. Lived through it.
It is, we hear it called everything from the smallest possible cartridge anyone should ever carry under any circumstances to only enough gun to get you killed, to all kinds of other nasty names, as if it hasn't been in use for like 120 some years and been used to stop countless attacks. Where I don't know that you were a 380 owner until rather recently.
Yeah, I bought my first 380 maybe just a year or two ago. I bought an old Beretta Model 84 used one just because I liked the look of it, and I didn't own a 380. There was really nothing out there at the time that spoke to me and said, buy me as a 380. I looked at some of the really tiny guns, and it wasn't that I didn't like the cartridge. It was that for the really, really small guns like the Ruger LCP, the Keltec, P3AT, they weren't comfortable to shoot. I knew I wouldn't train with them. I was looking for something else.
They're never comfortable to shoot. See, I shouldn't say that. Your Beretta is very comfortable.
Oh, yes, to shoot. That's why I like it.
Because that's the size of a compact 9mm.
Yep.
I'm a huge fan of the tiny 380s. And no, they are not comfortable to shoot. Running those guns is like punching someone in the face as hard as you can. This is stuff to do during an emergency. This is not stuff to be done for a leisurely day at the range. But 380, the much maligned by some shooters, 380, I don't even know if we can say it's made a comeback because it's been very popular for a very long time.
Yeah, there's been tons of 380s out there now, but it seems there's even more.
It seems there are even more.
And we're looking at 3 different versions. We went out to the range and put some rounds down range. As we looked at these 3, what do we call them? Modern 380s? The latest 380s?
The latest 380s, the micro compact. This is where it gets difficult for me because to me, 380 always meant either one of the old Colts,
right,
which was smaller than a 1911, but not a tiny little gun. One of the Euro Cop guns.
Yes.
Which is borderline the size of a normal 9mm, or one of my tiny little swim trunks guns. And these are none of those things. So yeah, maybe modern 380s.
Yeah, and the modern 380 right now, the big gun makers are into it. They are putting this stuff out there with everything that everyone might want on a 380, including, and I had some questions about this till I started shooting, ported and compensated 380s. And again, I may have mentioned it during one of my reviews. I go back to Jeremy Stafford's statement that we don't need softer guns, we need harder men.
Sure.
And but a compensated 380, specifically that SIG Sauer 365 LUXE, LUXE version, it's got an integrated compensator right there on the barrel. I noticed a difference on how quickly I could put rounds dead center, not just on target, but dead center.
A lot of this feels to me like these companies decided, I want to make a 380 that is as easy as possible to shoot.
Yes.
That's what this felt like. Now, that SIG LUXE was cheating because that is an aluminum frame.
Yep.
And that is borderline. That's getting kind of big.
Yeah,
So
it's a little bit heavier.
Of course it was
you
very
could
nice
probably
to
fit
shoot.
a 9mm into that frame size.
Right.
Yeah.
But some people want a 380. So great.
Right.
They ported it. They put a red dot on it. That is an eminently easy to shoot pistol.
So what are you saying, that I just wasn't that good, that I shot that one so well, or, it is a poor workman who blames his tools.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. But you availed yourself of outstanding tools.
Yes.
And shot quite well with it. In the middle there is what turned out to be my favorite. And so we'll get to that one last, at least from my side of the table. Down on the end is brand new. That is the Hellcat from Springfield in 380 ACP.
And I also loved shooting that gun. The Hellcat line of pistols is one that I really enjoy, that I really like. And this, polymer frame, I believe it's 11 round magazine in there or something like that. This thing was right on target and looks easy to carry. It's super comfortable to shoot. I have absolutely no complaints with that gun at all. You're right. The Luxe is a little bit heavier. It is borderline cheating. But yeah, that new Hellcat 380, I was pretty impressed.
As was I. And it was easy to shoot, but both that and the Luxe are closing in on the size of some of my double stack 9 pistols.
Yep.
And granted, some people, they are OCD. They only want to stock one cartridge, so they wanted a bigger gun, and they already stock 380, so they're going to buy these. Mm-hmm. The one that stole my heart is that Smith & Wesson Performance Center Bodyguard 2.0. That is a tiny double stack pistol, and it is a crazy light double stack pistol, and it shoots very easily, very quickly.
Yeah. I like that as well, because not only does it have the compensator on the slide, it also has the ported barrel. So any snappiness on that gun, because of its lightweight, is gone. I mean, the only thing I can liken it to is shooting a lever action 38 special. I mean, you get a good satisfying pop, but you're not feeling any of the recoil. So
and even though I'm sure a lot of people who buy this will be people who don't enjoy shooting 9s and 40s and 45s and 44 mags and 357s like you and I do, I would 100% carry that pistol if I could get a really light, simple, minimalist holster that would snap over that trigger guard or otherwise absolutely keep it safely at the ready, stuck inside my pants. I'm sold. I like that one a lot.
Yeah, that's a very nice gun. The only downside I felt with that is I felt like the trigger guard was a little bit small for me on the front side. And as I indexed the trigger and then moved quickly to shoot, I could feel myself dragging over the trigger guard to get to the trigger. Didn't pull me off target or anything. It's just something I noticed.
And that may be just that you don't spend as much time screwing with tiny guns as I do. But boy, I didn't feel that. I didn't have that issue. I don't recall. I believe this has a 10-rounder.
Yeah, I think so.
These are all cleared, of course, but just to keep the people on the internet from screeching at us, these are safe guns. But you and I both have, even though we're constantly accused of having tiny girlish hands in videos, you and I both wear size XL gloves, and I believe we got some good footage of these guns in our hands. The reason that I love this so much is because my two favorite guns are the great big one and the little tiny one. And this is not that much bigger than a lot of little tiny guns that I've handled and carried. Yet is a double stack and holds 10 rounds. Do you do 10 or do you do 10 plus 1?
I typically do 10 plus 1.
Top off. Okay.
I will load up and top off and make sure that I have all the bullets that I can fit in any given gun that I'm carrying.
Okay. So if you're going to do that, this is 11 rounds of 380 ready to go in a very small, borderline tiny platform that is super light. I don't know that this weighs as much as a can of soda. This is very, very light, very, very thin. And yeah, I'm a fan. And
I would describe it as eminently shootable. It is a wonderfully good shooting gun. Like I said, I happen to enjoy a gun that's just a little bit thicker like that. And I don't know, maybe now, how fine of hairs are we going to split? I want to turn the conversation a little bit more to the debate about 380. New 380 ammo is perfectly functional. I mean, all of the new technology going into making ammo is making 380 ammo, I hesitate to use this word, wonderfully lethal. It still does the job. It's, I have never seen any video of any shooting anywhere where a bad guy stopped and said, wait a minute, you're just shooting a 380,
The other side of that is whatever style of bullet is loaded into the cartridge, I want you to be running the ammo that is most accurate out of your sidearm, obviously. But 380 is a lot like 45 ACP in that it's one of the few where I'm comfortable advising people, look, if you know that you're never going to spend $1.50 a round on ammo, if you know that you're only going to buy the cheapest ball ammo that you can get at the big box store, get a 380 or a 45.
Yeah.
Because those cartridges made their bones on nothing but ball ammo. And especially once we get down to some really short barrels, like are in a lot of 380 ACPs, you might not get the velocity to get deployment of those hollow points. Mm-hmm. So if you can't get that, we're going to have to go for penetration, and you'll get better penetration with those round or preferably flat-nosed ball. And honestly, if you have a short enough barrel that the hollow point doesn't deploy, it's just going to act like ball ammo anyway.
Right.
So we advise here at the USCCA that people carry jacketed hollow points just like their local PD or sheriff's office does, blah, blah, blah. But that's this end of the curve answer. Once we start to get a little more experience in a shooter, we'll be like, okay, I know we said that because most people buy 9mm and because it's a very easy to say blanket statement. Once you get into some of the other ones, you can get away with ball.
Yeah, and that's why I brought up the new ballistic technology, the new ammunition technology that's going out there. I was at a writers event with folks from Fiocchi, and they were getting fully 12 inches of penetration into bear gelatin. So, cut an inch off if you're going through clothing or something else like that. And full expansion on their 380 ammo out of guns like this with little 3-inch barrels. Mm-hmm. The new powders that they're putting in there are giving you the burn rate to get the velocity, to get the ammunition to open up. So I'm not going to stand here and say that you're losing a whole bunch. Yeah, you're losing a little bit of power, a little bit of muzzle energy and muzzle velocity when you go to 380. But I go back to my old standby. I used to say, would you let me shoot you with that gun? Now I say, would you shoot me if I was pointing that gun at you? And in any case, if somebody is pointing a 380 at me, I'm not going to debate caliber with them. I'm going to take evasive action and try to stop that threat.
That is correct.
Every state has different gun laws, which can be confusing and a nightmare if you're traveling. And the consequences could be jail time. Some states have constitutional carry. Some have permitless carry. What's the difference? The USCCA has a free resource that is your one-stop shop if you need to know the gun laws in your state or the states you're going to be traveling to. This will keep you out of jail. Click the link in the description or in our bio to get instant access to your gun law map.